Interesting. They're not doing shit though. You know.
Yeah. Here we go.
You're listening to Oilers Nation.
The intro won't work, so just go.
Ding dong.
But I could hear it. I could hear the intro.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second. Here it comes.
You're listening to Oilersnation Radio, a member of the Nation network of podcasts and delivered by DoorDash. 1 hour straight hockey talk with Dan, Rick, Tyler, and Bag Milk starts now.
Oilersnation Radio, episode 95,261. Bag Milk here. Liam, Rick, Dan, Tyler. Gang's all back. The Christmas week is just wrapping up. We're in that weird time of the year where nothing seems to matter. Who knows what day it is? I woke up at 10 a.m. today, Tyler. I never do that.
Yeah, actually, I did too. It was crazy.
So take it while you can. We've only got a few days left, and then it's back to the grind in 2023. As we do, we kick off every week's podcast with a shout out to our friends at DoorDash and Oodle Noodle. Oodle Noodle location number 18 just opened in Calgary in early December. If you've checked it out, if you're an Oilers fan behind enemy lines, I want to know what you think of the new Oodle Noodle down there. I can tell you it's delicious, but I want to hear from you. And if you're feeling lazy because you've cooked all week, hit up DoorDash, get a little delivery. Liam, one more time.
Ding dong.
Whoa,
there you
that's
go.
Lovely.
Good job, buddy.
Really nice.
I'm currently an Oilers fan in enemy territory, so maybe I'll go to Oodle Noodle today.
Where are you?
I'm in I'm in Chestermere, my second home. It feels like in the moment.
Well, enjoy Chestermere.
Thank you.
And a Detroit Lions hat, though. A Detroit Lions hat.
This little thing, the playoff Lions. Yeah, right. We're gonna blow it. We're going 0-2 in our last 2 games to knock ourselves out of the playoffs. It's gonna be awesome.
Tyler, as we do every week, we start off with a delicious debate for our friends at DoorDash Noodle Noodle. What have you got for us today, sir?
Well, it's our final show of the calendar year of 2022, so I figured we could look back and start with the on-ice moments. What was the best on-ice moment from the Edmonton Oilers in the last calendar year?
First up on my screen, Nation Dan, I see you first. What do you got?
Oh, I mean, I'm going to take the easy one off the board. It was Connor McDavid eliminating the Calgary Flames in Game 5 in overtime in their currently still falling apart barn. That was something that fell over the offseason, if you remember. So yes, McDavid eliminating the Calgary Flames was the high point for me.
Hard to argue with that one. I can still hear the call on that goal. Game winner.
Is that because you post it every second day?
Well, sometimes people need to remember, you know?
It should be your alarm clock. It should be your alarm clock.
I'm open to that.
You're doing a huge service for the public.
I'm absolutely open to that. Next up on my screen, Rick, you are coming up next. Your favorite Oilers moment from the last 12 months.
Well, this wouldn't have been possible. Dan's would not have been possible had we not gone out and beat LA in 7. So I'm just going to take the first playoff victory in 4 years, I guess it would have been.
That was also a good one. Game 7, I was there. Liam still recovering financially.
Yes.
That leads me to you, sir, Liam. What is your favorite Oilers moment from the last 12 months?
Well, I'll try and just stay away from McDavid because we could do a full 12-month calendar on what that man did for the Edmonton Oilers this year. But one moment I kind of was thinking about was when Tyson Berry got that goal against LA in the playoffs.
Game 6?
That was awesome. That was pretty legit. That was really fun just being like, well, obviously I wasn't in LA, but like being at home, watching the game, eating bananas. I ate a ton that game, and then Tyson Berry put an end to it. So that was an awesome little play there by Mr. Berry.
One of my favorite off-ice moments, Liam, was that you admitted you were eating stress bananas, and that just kind of turned into a thing now.
I got 2 banana gifts for Christmas. I wish I had them here, but I got a Lego man in a banana suit, and I got a t-shirt that is straight up a banana. So even my family is joining into the bit now.
You turned last nice hot and cold performers into show and tell. What the hell?
Yeah.
Now those are nice, but I'm surprised nobody just got you like a bunch of bananas. Like it's just like a nice little bundle.
Yeah,
no
like
bundle.
There's 6 bananas for you. You can wear the t-shirt. That's cool. The Lego man is dope, but an actual banana.
Make sure you're finishing off the year with plenty of potassium.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Got to build up.
Potassium.
Tyler, your favorite on-ice moment from 2022?
Oh, and this one is, considering all your answers, I'm not even trying to be different. This was going to be my pick if I went first. Connor McDavid, Game 7 against the LA Kings. I mean, that performance in general was unreal when you factor in the big hit on Dursey early in the game. But I think that goal late, you're only up 1-0 coming down the stretch. And that goal in itself, the way he just seemed to kind of be like, you know what, I'm ending this thing. And took a couple of efforts, had to go around the net. And then the emotion when he scored, not just from McDavid, but from the crowd too. For me, that's why I picked it over the OT winner against Calgary, because there's just something about the roar of Rogers Place in a big playoff moment there that, I mean, being in the rink, I'll never forget how loud that place got. That was an all-timer from McDavid.
Yeah, it really was an amazing moment. Just to try and be a little bit different, I'm going to say when we were down in LA, Tyler, for game 3 against the Kings, and that was the game that the Oilers absolutely lit LA up. And there is nothing more fun than watching your team blow out the opposition in the opposing arena. Yes, I got hit in the head with a beer that day, but would I do it again? Yes, I would, because we also took that hilarious picture with Olivier Rodrigue on the concourse. We met a ton of hilarious Oilers fans down there. The group was amazing. So I'm just going to say that entire night of game 3. Also, watching a couple of victories in Calgary this year. We don't really get to see those all that often. We went down just in October. That was one of those games where I thought Stuart Skinner kind of stole the game a little bit, but we just had an amazing time. And then we had that pre-event at Greta down there first, and it was just fun. It was great. Anything else that sticks out to you guys from the best moments of 2022?
I have one recent moment, which is really cool, was Bouchard's last second tying goal. That was awesome. That was just a really cool moment just from a recent thing. I mean, was McDavid's goal against Winnipeg in 2022, or was that
and the Rangers
calendar? They were both 2022. I mean, there's a couple more.
No, that would have been 2021. That would have been start of the year.
But I think Winnipeg was early 2022, if I remember rightly. I can remember. Just a lot of epic moments. It's been a roller coaster year, but been awesome.
One of the best moments for me was the Ben Stelter, the rise of Ben Stelter and the lore around Ben Stelter. And of course, it of course had a low point as well, but most good stories have an ending. And so that's, but as we've seen, since then, his Ben Stelter Foundation or the Ben Stelter Fund is really going to take that and go further. But yeah, the story of Ben kind of rising up and throughout the playoffs, it was something special.
Just kind of tagging on that a little bit. It's not an on the ice thing, but just if you've been in Edmonton during a playoff run, it's just so much more fun to be here when the Oilers are in the playoffs and just seeing all the car flags around, seeing the hype in the city, seeing just people spill out of Rogers Place after a win and into the streets, and just, it was a lot of fun. I remember the Nuge game against Calgary. I'm pretty sure I was the first one out of Rogers Place that night and the first one into the pint post game. And we just had the best time. And it was one of those nights where Rick and I just got a little bit piled up, got a little bit silly, kind of wandered home.
Didn't it happen really fast too?
Well, yeah, we kind of went bang, 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 like in the span of 90 minutes, 0 to 100. So it was just that kind of thing. And all the pregame parties we had, or the viewing parties we had all over the place, were great. Just interacting with Nation citizens throughout this whole thing was fantastic. The vibes at Nation HQ throughout the playoffs, everybody was excited. Everybody's making a bunch of content. So just a really fun year, especially considering you started 2022 off on such a low. Dave Tippett got fired. Team was spinning their wheels at the worst possible way. There was all those Evander Kane rumors. On Better Late Than Never on Wednesday, Tyler and I walked through some of the top 10 biggest stories on OilersNation.com from the past year. So I basically aggregated a bunch of traffic from the website over the last 12 months. And it was interesting to see what came out. So like Liam said, definitely a roller coaster year. I want to hear from you. Favorite on ice moments. Hit us up, ON Radio Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. Liam?
I have one more.
Hit us.
When Mike Smith came back from the dressing room against Calgary, that was awesome.
Who made the video? Was that
video?
Zach?
Zach made that video.
That video was incredible.
Unbelievable. Just even without the audio behind it, it was awesome to see. And then with the audio, it was so much fun. Like that, just kind of that whole thing, just being part of the playoffs again, and the whole emotions around that was awesome. But the Mike Smith was hilarious, just hilarious.
If I can tag on that one, Liam, if you don't mind. Seeing Calgary win game 1 of that series the way they did and how confident that whole city was up until the Oilers rattled off 4 straight, in many cases after coming back from behind. It was amazing. It was hilarious. And
watching them grasp at straws after we lost to Colorado. Oh, we guys lost and you didn't win the next game. Like just grasp at straws just to make them feel better about getting whooped by us.
And then their entire summer that followed after that, karma gets you down, you know?
And then lastly, just one, it wasn't like a play or anything, but anytime I see the photo, I laugh. After Connor gets the winner in OT in game 5, Jay Woodcroft's standing between the benches, hands on his hips, waiting for Daryl Sutter. Every time I see it, I laugh.
That should be a statue in itself.
Oh, amazing. Amazing. Again, I want to hear from all of you. ON Radio Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. Just slide into the DMs or hit us up with a reply. What was your favorite moments of 2022? I hear my dog just knocked down something upstairs. That's great. So we'll see what that is later. I want to go back to Tuesday next. So that was the last Battle of Alberta of the year. Oilers end up winning 2 series against the Flames in one season, or in one calendar year. Hi-yo! I just want to talk about one thing specifically. The win was a big credit to Stuart Skinner. The Flames were shooting pucks from everywhere. That was one thing that was kind of annoying. People were like, oh, the Oilers got absolutely blown out. Well, a big chunk of those shots were from around the perimeter where there was such easy saves for Stuart Skinner. What did you guys make?
Woodcroft pointed it out.
Did he? I missed that.
Oh, yeah. He even brought up the fact that they just like to shoot from anywhere to kind of bring up their stats a bit.
What did you guys make of the last Battle of Alberta of the year?
Yeah, I mean, I think they were shooting, as you would say, Bag Milk, from the parking lot. Like, I was looking at the heat map on Natural Stat Trick, and like there is a lot of green on this bad boy from outside of the circles and from the top of the zone. So I think they were definitely the better team from the crease out, or in front of the crease, I should say, maybe. They played good. They outplayed the Oilers for long stretches of that game. But Connor McDavid is always going to get his, even if you hold him to one shot on goal. And Edmonton's goalie was better. And last time I checked, goalies are a part of the game. So I give Edmonton full marks for that win, because sometimes even when you don't have your best, you need to find a way to get the 2 points. And that's what I thought that game was against Calgary.
Liam, what do you think?
Well, as I mentioned off the top, I am in Lame's territory right now. And I listened to the post-game show on, I don't even know, 960, I think it is. So it was I was just very curious what they were going to talk about and how if it was any different to us. And it was, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was like, you know, when the Oilers and Flames play each other in the playoffs, like Daryl Sutter's going to show his team this video again and show them all the good things they did. And he's like, but you lost at the end of the day. You lost the game. Like, I can't see Daryl Sutter showing anybody this tape ever again. And even in the post games with Sutter, and I think it was Backlund that were talking about it, they kept asking him, they were like, oh, but you played so well at 5-on-5. And they were like, yeah, but we lost the game. Like, we didn't win. And there was one other thing that was quite funny. Oh, they called out Oilers media for saying how the Oilers don't get between Markstrom's ears. Like we say, we're like between his ears all the time, right?
Yeah, run free.
They were like, oh, well, what does this performance say to you? It's like, oh, well, it tells me he allowed 2 goals on 21 shots and the Oilers won the game. So,
and he still got beat by McDavid.
Yeah, again. And
both goals down low on the glove side.
Yeah.
We always talk about how maybe Edmonton is like a tough market to play in. Like a lot of people say that, right? And somebody called in to the show. Is actually, I think it was Pat Steinberg's show that they called. It was him who was on the air at the time, and they called in and they blamed Markstrom for like McDavid's goal. They're like, how do you not stop that? And it just goes to show it's not only Edmonton that gets on top of their players sometimes. It happens down here in Calgary too. And it's like, what do you want Markstrom to really do in that situation?
Markstrom made some pretty big fucking saves too. If I'm not mistaken, he went post to post to stop Leon twice.
Yeah, he was good.
There was that one on Jesse right in the slot, point blank.
So as much as everyone wants to sit here and say, you know what, the Flames are the better, blah, 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 the Oilers, if they were able to capitalize on 2 or 3 more chances, that game wasn't even that close.
I mean, if the Flames don't hit a goalpost late, that game goes to overtime. So there's the flip side of that argument.
That's not even a shot on net, though.
Yeah, but he hit the post, Rick.
Yeah. Why would you cover the post? Was it the inside of the post or outside of the post? He's got the inside of the post covered.
One thing that I love from that game was just the way that Stuart Skinner stepped up in a huge way. I thought there was times where the Oilers, they looked like they just got back from Christmas break. They looked like they had a couple of cocktails, ate too much turkey, a little bit sloppy. Passes were maybe a foot ahead, foot behind. Stu was there to cover up the mistakes, and he was fantastic.
I wish we could blame that on the holiday feasts, but they've been doing that stupid shit in our own end all year.
Well, I'm trying here.
I know. Man, like, it's frustrating. Like, it's just, you see 5 guys staring at one direction, and some guy walks in from the backside.
I'm staring at them too.
You know what? I would too if I had the chance. Bunch of great songs. Story of my life. Excellent. One thing I wanted to ask you guys about, because I didn't get a chance because we haven't spoken since that game, was the neon knee hit Mackenzie Weegar on Connor McDavid. And my thought was, I wrote about it at Oilersnation.com, and the reason I'm bringing it up is because a lot of people got really upset with me for my take, which was if Connor McDavid gets kneed, can somebody please step in and do something? I don't care if you rub a face with the glove. I don't care if you slash him in the top of the ankles. Just do something. Write a letter to his mom for all I care. It drives me crazy when nothing happens, when the best player on earth takes a knee like that. And the argument that a lot of people gave me was, you don't want to send Calgary to the power play and risk losing that game because the penalty kill sucks. And I thought, fuck that. Yes, you do. Because what I would say is, if that's your captain, the most important player on your team, and he's going to take a shot like that, I risk taking that penalty every single time to stand up for him. And maybe they lose that game because they allow a power play goal, or maybe the PK rises to the challenge and kills one off for whoever defended the captain. I do that every single time because the long term, it's going to keep people away from him if they know he's going to be defended, at least on a small level. I'm not saying drop the gloves if you're not a fighter, but fuck, man, throw a cross check or something. If Evander Kane was out there with him, there is no way Weegar would have gone untouched. Zero. And I guess it just bothers me that Connor can get hit and run or kneed like that, and nobody does a thing. It drives me nuts.
So one, I want to know who on the ice actually saw the play enough to see exactly what we saw. So I don't know who'd react right away on the ice. I'm also not necessarily a guy who needs it to happen on the ice right away, but given some time and an iPad, everybody saw what that play happened. He should have been dealt with later in that game.
That's
okay,
fine.
You don't got to jump him right away. Don't got to jump him right away. I get the penalties. I get all that stuff. Whatever. But there's no way that you didn't see this at intermission or commercial break or whenever. Players saw it. You need to grab him, and you need to start hitting him into the boards, put him through the boards, put him into the parking lot. You cannot allow him to get away with this. I don't need it to be right instant, but it has to happen throughout the game.
For me, it's just like, again, Rick, you make a good point. I don't know who saw what when they were on the ice in real time, but like if I turn around and Connor's laying on the ground, I'm just making my first punch a drop kick on somebody. I don't care who it is. It drives me nuts that nobody defends him. And I'm not saying he needs to be defended. He probably doesn't even want it, but somebody's got to do it.
You can't say no one defends him because when he got the Edler hit, Nurse jumped in there right away.
Fair, 100%. But my standard is
this play needs to be dealt with better.
Yes, my standard is that game on November 25th. I looked it up because I put it in my article that day. Robert Bortuzzo got pushed into Andrei Vasilevsky. He was pushed into the net by a Lightning player. What happened? All 4 Lightning that were surrounding him jumped into the pile immediately. There was no context of what point of the game it's at. Are they going to go on the penalty kill? Their star goalie took a hit. Everybody jumped in. That's my standard. And when it's Connor McDavid, more guys need to be like that. Like, challenge the PK on one of those. I don't get it.
Go after their best fucking players.
Yeah.
Huberdeau should have. Well, I mean, I know it was really hard to find Huberdeau on the ice that night, but I was guessing he's definitely doing what they wanted. Got out of Gaudreau, didn't he? Like Goudreau would not come to these games. Apparently Huberdeau doesn't want to come to these games either. So awesome. But anyways, if you're closer, you got to find that guy. You got to stick him. And you look right at the bench. You look at right at Weegar and go, this is why it's happening.
Tyler, Dan, Liam.
Yeah, I mean, I just come from the world where I grew up of the opinion that you take a number, and later in the game when Mackenzie Weegar gets hit by Kyler Yamamoto, and it's that 4th second after he released the puck, the crowd goes crazy because we all remembered what Mackenzie Weegar did to McDavid, and it doesn't have to be a big thing. My issue, and I'm sorry that I have to divert here because I missed Tuesday's episode to talk about it, is the game before. Oiler fans were losing our collective minds on social media about McDavid getting hauled down on his partial break there on the power play, where he was definitely looking for a call. And so when we do that, and when we decide that we're going to lose it about a little ticky-tacky plays like that, then when you come to a play like this with Weegar, our voice is lessened because we're freaking out about every little thing that happens to McDavid. And that's kind of the point that I have coming back to. If the players are the ones that respond, then the fans don't have to be the ones that look like we're a bunch of buffoons yelling and screaming about every little thing that happens to McDavid. If the players are the ones that determine that every little thing that happens to McDavid is not okay, then you're better off. And that's what this team needs. And so, yeah, I would love to see Warren Foegele just take a stupid penalty where then you go back to the bench and you say, Foegele saw our best guy get hit and get greased, and he decided to take a penalty. Let's go kill that one for him. And then maybe you can start to rally this penalty kill into something that can resemble something of responsibility.
Yeah. I mean, I think it should just be a reaction thing. I don't think it should matter where you're at in the game. Like, I just kind of watched the highlight then as we were talking, like Hyman was kind of looking right at it. Like, you got to get in there. You got to do something. Like, and it's weird because, like Rick, you mentioned the Edler hit. Like, Foegele set Holloway up for that suicide pass against Buffalo, and they jumped in then. So it's like, what does it take for you to just do it on a consistent basis? And we're not asking them to just every man on the ice like get in a fight every night, right? Like, you just got to pick your spots. And if you take a penalty on that, they say on the broadcast all the time, that's one that like the penalty kill is going to want to kill off. Like, guys are probably going to jump in front of a couple more extra pucks if like they know what you just did, right? Or like whatever it is. Like, it's just they've got to play. It's a team game, and we kind of laughed a little bit earlier in the season about like the Oilers need team toughness when they were going after Reeves and stuff. And I don't necessarily think Reeves was the answer, but like this team's got to buck up a little bit. And even when we saw the Marcus Niemelainen thing against Nashville, like you can't go around doing that kind of stuff and then not fight. And I just feel like the Oilers have a really weird reputation of not wanting to like drop the gloves, I guess, or like get stuck in a little bit. And it's weird for a team that went to the Western Conference Finals last year, had like a tough series against LA and then like a tough series against Calgary, and then not to like show up again. Like they're just weirdly inconsistent with it.
Tyler?
Yeah, I like that point. Weirdly inconsistent with it, because Hyman's a guy who showed earlier in the year he's willing to kind of go after someone if they go out, if a teammate gets their bell rung. And again, I don't even think it should be like, we don't know who on the ice saw it. Like, if I'm turn around and I see Connor McDavid on the ice, I'm kind of immediately going like, who did that? Who am I going to grab? Because I think you need to have that element of it. And I'm not someone who's, a super old school hockey guy. Like, I don't miss the days of brawls and 2 fights a game. Like, I just don't. But that's one of those things where, that was one of those moments where I think there is some substance to it. Like, you need to go make sure guys are aware, hey, if you touch 97, you're going to pay for it. And they dropped the ball by not doing that. And now we have to have all these conversations, or we have people like on Spit and Chicklets being like, this is why Connor McDavid's never going to re-sign in Edmonton. And it's like, that's such a nauseating conversation for us to have again. But at the same time, you can understand why, because if you watch that play, you see no one go after Weegar and McDavid's just laying on the ice. It's kind of like, okay, well, why wasn't anyone going after him? Do they kind of just sit there and go, yeah, whatever? I don't know. It was an annoying moment, and it shouldn't have happened. And now we're having conversations that we shouldn't have to have if the team just did what they're supposed to do.
And that's it for me too. It's just, I risk taking a penalty in that situation every single time if it means you
what
jumped
happens
into
if Connor told the boys on the bench not to do anything?
Then that's wrong of him to do. Like, I'm sorry, but like,
that'd be wrong. You could just,
I think it is wrong. Like,
yeah, but even if he tells them not to do it, they don't have to stop doing it. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah. So Rick, I guess the reason I think it's wrong.
No, I'm just saying this is more of like the devil's advocate or whatever, right? Like, hey boys, like whatever, I'm good. Like this game, we need to win this game. Don't fuck around. Let's just go win this game. We'll beat them that way.
Sure.
I don't know if he said that. I don't know yay or nay, but like could have been something he said. Like, we need to W more than anything else. Let's go get the fucking win. I
just think I don't know. Obviously, we don't know if that happened, but like you can't allow people just to take out knees. And like I'm not saying Weegar went out trying to like clean him out or anything like that, but like sometimes it just happens. But you can't just act like it didn't occur on the ice, because next thing you know, what if the next one just blows his knee out and he's done for the year? Like stuff. The whole entire league,
acts like it didn't happen on the ice.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't be happening. They always got to do something about it. They got to address it within the moment or sometime within that game, like you said before too. Like someone comes off the ice and you check it out then, whatever. But it needs to be dealt with and not spoke about by us on a podcast saying what they should have done.
I think it was embarrassing. That's your captain. That's your best player. He's the best player in the league. And you can't even not even a push.
You need to go put yourself in front of it for him, for sure. This team needs to go get it. This team needs to go get a big guy. I'm sorry. I know fucking Twitter's going to blow up. They're going to strongly disagree, but this team they have enough forwards to play enough minutes that you can hide a player like that on the fourth line.
Why do they have to go out and get a guy and not just have a coach or a person in that locker room that stands up?
What the hell is the coach going to do?
Like stands up and says exactly what we're saying. That was fucking embarrassing to watch you guys not respond for your captain.
You don't think Dave
next time that shit happens, like that? I want you to respond.
You don't think Dave Manson would say something like that?
Know. We don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But I hope
remembering his career, I would say that guy was frothing at the mouth, wishing he had skates on at that point.
Like that was just one of those ones where, and of course we miss Evander Kane for what he is, but that was one of those ones where I really missed Evander Kane, because there is no way Weegar would have got off the ice without something happening to him if Kane was on the ice.
Yeah.
Anyway, again, I'd like to hear from you.
So you go find someone who's willing to do something like that, and if somebody loses ice time because of it, they lose ice time because of it. You should have went out there and done it. You would have kept your ice time. We wouldn't have to bring this guy in here.
I kind of agree. Like, it's not someone. I'm not saying like
we play 11 and 7 sometimes. We play 11 forward sometimes, and even then, our two forwards get like 5 minutes. I promise you, there's some guys out there with some messed up knuckles who could play fucking 4 or 5 minutes.
I think a send up or a call down or whatever, call up, send down might have the exact same effect.
No, we don't have one in the organization.
You don't think
who's one guy in Bakersfield who's going to come up here and do something?
Brad Malone.
No, he's
not going to do a damn thing.
Yes, he is. He comes up here. He does it all the time. He throws his body around.
No, he doesn't.
He does everything that you could ask of that.
He's never going to do that. That's not in his DNA. That's not who he is.
He's not the answer to this question.
No, but I think in the meantime he is, though, because he's the kind of guy that comes in and he just gets it and he's going to step in and defend it. I'm not saying that Brad Malone is the answer.
He's never done it yet.
As an example.
Have you seen it happen yet?
What's that?
Have you seen Brad Malone take a fighting major standing up for somebody yet?
Have I seen Brad Malone get the opportunity? No. I haven't seen him have the opportunity.
Was Brad Malone in the game versus against Edler?
I don't know.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, there's times out there. Brad Malone's been out there. If he wanted to stand up to a drop in the gloves, he could have done it.
I just think
that's not who he is. There's nothing wrong with that.
I just think your message is right. I think you could send that to the line mates that were on the ice with McDavid at the time. The message could be sent to them. Like, you know what, guys? You don't want to respond like that? Then you don't play with McDavid next time.
Nobody responded. So now what?
Yeah, I'm looking at hockeyfights.com right now, and the Oilers are ranked second last in terms of fights this year. And that Puljujarvi one that I see them getting credit for, I don't think I count that.
Hey, I get yelled at about this all the time. Let the record state that I have every fight logged that the NHL has determined to fight. Yes, he did throw punches and the gloves
did get 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was a 5 minutes. I can confirm. I'm thinking of it now. That was the one where they fell, right?
Yeah.
He fell like right after the fight.
Emotionally, I don't count that.
Yeah.
It happened
what do the ratings say, though? Does it say it's like a 1 or a 2?
Oh, it can't even be a 1.
It's not very highly rated.
It's like his first fight in the AHL, man. He fought like an AHL tough guy. And
I would love to have the
long ass
people.
arms that I hold on for dear life, but that wasn't his style.
You're absolutely Bag Milk. That's not a complaint that you're alone in having, but I would love to have the people like message the NHL and be like, I don't know, Jesse, that goal of his, it kind of sucked. So I don't know if we should count that goal.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you know what I'm saying. I'm like, give him credit for the fight all you want, but like,
there's so many fights these days where it's like, wow. If you put that up against what happened in the 2000s on our website, it would be a joke. But like, they're just different.
Going back to my point where Vasilevsky was the standard in this situation, I also got arguments after I wrote my article on Wednesday being like, the best teams don't have fights on that just doesn't happen. Well, I'm looking at one of the teams tied, the Minnesota Wild, 15 fights this year. Pretty good hockey team.
Hold on. Look at their roster though. They have some.
Are they still a good hockey team or are they not?
100%. I'm just saying they have some
Tampa Bay
fighters on that team.
13 fights.
Makeup.
That's impressive.
Boston.
How many
Bruins,
outside like
12.
Corey Perry and Maroon?
Dallas
I was just going to say
11.
It's actually surprising, Rick. It's actually surprising. There's probably like 5 or 6 Maroon fights in there, if memory serves correct, and then Perry is, I think, caused 2 or 3 this year, but the rest would be spread out.
My point here is that they've got guys willing to go.
100%.
The Boston Bruins are they not the best team in the National Hockey League?
Yes.
They've got 12 scraps this year.
At home.
Are they all at home?
I wouldn't say their fights are all at home. Their wins are mostly.
That would be impressive because aren't they like undefeated at home?
Yeah, I should look that up. I should look that up.
That would upset a lot of people.
I'm going to add that to my list
or some shit.
But Bag Milk, I agree. Like, it's, supposedly hockey's got away from that kind of stuff. And like, in ways, yes, it has. But in other ways, like, it hasn't. Like, Tampa Bay have been to the Stanley Cup Finals 3 years in a row because most of it, like, no, I'm not saying this is their obvious reason. Like, they're obviously a really good hockey team, but like, they stand up for each other.
They
and
play for each other.
Willing to take shit from other teams. The Bruins have been a great team for 10 years now, like a consistent good NHL team, and like there's ways to do it. And I'm not saying like skill isn't going to get you all the way, but like last year the Oilers got swept in the Western Conference Final, just stuff like pure skill, right? Like that's all and I know Colorado did too, I guess, but like you still need that toughness in your team. And looking up and down the team, there's Niemelainen was supposed to be that guy, and the first opportunity he got, he turtled.
He's supposed to be a guy who hits. He wasn't necessarily a guy who's going to drop him. There's a big difference between those two.
Isn't that team toughness though too?
100%, but doesn't mean he has to fight. But I will say this: a lot of times it takes a leader. This team didn't have a lot of swagger till Evander Kane got here last year. He stepped on the ice, and all of a sudden, everybody else played a little bit larger, a little bit stronger. Just because they knew that you'd follow that man in. We don't really have that leader on this roster. That attitude, that swagger type of guy until Evander comes back. And we talked about this earlier this year. I do believe that's why you see a lot of passive type of games out there where we don't seem to be the ones out there trying to, decide how the emotions are going to go out there. We kind of sit back and react. We need some guys who are going to go out there and take the game by the throat. And we don't have a lot of guys on this roster going to do that.
And I'm not talking
obviously
about
Connor and
either,
Leon, but they do it. They can just do it at the drop of a hat, grabbing the puck, right? Somebody, he's some blue collar guys that got to get out there and do it that way.
And before you hit us up, I'm not talking about bringing in a goon that like the Steve McIntyre days that he can't play.
Oh, that'd be nice though, wouldn't it?
But what I am saying is like, I don't understand how the best player on earth takes a knee like that and nobody does a thing about it. That bums me up.
My final point on this, and this one hurts me the most, but you're not telling me that somebody couldn't just play the same minutes of what Devon Score does and do a better job of adding that element, right? Like it's the same difference.
I mean, he's not playing right now, but like even the idea of like, okay, how much value is Dylan Holloway bringing you on the fourth line? Like this is a different conversation, but like play with that guy with skill or let him go develop in the American League playing 20 minutes a game, because Holloway for 4 or 5 minutes at 5-on-5, that's not doing a ton. Go get a guy who's just a bowling ball who's going to go out there and like recap. And Holloway forechecks are like, I like his game. And if he was 32 years old, I'd be like, hell yeah, that's a really good fourth liner. But the goal for Dylan Holloway should not be really good fourth liner right now. Like, let's get someone who's more properly suited for that spot.
100%. Now let's move on. Everybody had their say? We good?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Bring in Max Domi. I'm good now.
Bring in Ty.
Yeah, Ty Domi as well. Let's get to tonight's game against Seattle. Do you know off the top of your head, and if you said this on Oilers Nation every day, I don't want to hear from you, when the last game against the Seattle Kraken was for the Edmonton Oilers?
For us?
Yep.
I actually said I couldn't remember ever playing them. So
yeah, I think this might be the first ever meeting between the two.
Yeah.
This is
what?
This is
December,
the first meeting this year.
Oh.
Ever.
I would have assumed it was like
this
January.
calendar year.
Said December.
Really?
No way.
It has been 377 days since the Oilers last played the Seattle Kraken. The last game they played was December 18th of 2021.
How many times did we play them last year?
Three.
So we did the same thing. Gave them 3 games before, and then just
3 games before New Year's. Didn't see.
Thanks, schedule makers.
It's just like the schedule is so odd to me. Like, how do you have a divisional opponent that you haven't seen in more than a calendar year? It doesn't. It's wild to me. And I guess I know there's a lot of math and algorithms and nerd shit that goes into making a schedule like this. I get that, but it seems so weird to me. Yeah, 377 days. So, looking at the Kraken right now, they're starting to come back down to earth a little bit. And I wonder if that's an opportunity for the Oilers to get ahead of them. They are tied at 40 points coming into tonight's game. Though the Kraken have 3 games in hand, it'd be really nice to see the Oilers kind of chip away at that a little bit. At 3-6-1 in their last 10 games, I think the Kraken are, I think this is a winnable game.
Of course it is.
Oh,
Tyler?
Yeah, man. Like Seattle is really coming back down to earth a little bit. I laid out a few things today on the live show. Like, they're the only team in the NHL whose 5-on-5 shooting percentage is above 10%. They've been getting lucky for stretches of this season. And
they've got a lot of depth scoring, actually.
And they have been getting a lot of depth scoring as well. And that's a credit to their roster, sure. But I think this is a team that, especially considering how their goaltendings look this season, both their guys under 900 save percentages, I think this is a team that might start to slip. And if you're the Oilers, you play them 3 times in the next 3 weeks. Make sure they stay in this cold slump. Don't give them any sort of a momentum building opportunity tonight. Absolutely bury them. And you know what? If you win these next 3 games, maybe Seattle goes on a slide. Maybe they decide to be sellers. Maybe in these next 3 games where you play them 3 times over the next 3 weeks, you can help get Carson Soucy in Edmonton.
So this is what stuck out to me. I was writing the GDB today for Oilersnation.com. It's up. Go read it. There's your little game day preview. I was looking at the Kraken stats page, and this is what really kind of blew my mind. And it kind of lends to Tyler's, what he said about the shooting percentage. At 5-on-5, the Kraken are shooting at 10.26%. The Oilers on the flip side are shooting at 7.97%. That's like, in terms of shooting percentage, that's a pretty wide gap there. Mm-hmm. But what stuck out to me is the Kraken have 6 guys in their lineup with between 5 and 8 goals. The Oilers only have 3. So if we're talking about depth scoring, I feel like a big part of tonight's game, if the Oilers are going to win, it's matching the depth scoring that the Kraken have. They have no chance against our top end.
Do we have rosters yet?
Jay
doesn't
Woodcroft,
look like yet.
Jay Woodcroft was asked.
You're asking about Leon?
Find anybody? Yeah.
Did you ask about Leon? Yeah, nothing yet.
Essentially.
Yeah. Woodcroft wouldn't confirm or deny if Draisaitl was even on the plane to Seattle, which I feel like is an admission that he wasn't. Like, if Draisaitl was on the plane, I feel like you'd say, hey, yeah, he's with us. He's a game time decision. Like, that's weird, right?
This is good. This is coaching stuff. I like it.
He's being a real rascal.
He's going to come out wearing a different jersey and warm up with a right-handed stick.
Yeah, he's dressed up as Devin Shore. Oh, that'd be nice with the glasses and the nose and the mustache.
Oh, yes.
Who is it? I don't know. Tyson Barrie also didn't practice yesterday. I don't know if those guys are playing. I'm just cruising Twitter. It doesn't say anything yet.
I'd assume, not Sportsnet. Like, Sportsnet used Tyson Barrie in their picture to advertise tonight's game, so I'd assume he's playing, but
they had that graphic weeks ago.
Yeah.
Those are scheduled tweets.
Yep. So looking ahead at tonight's game against Seattle, this is the first time, again, they've played in 377 days. No idea what to expect from this matchup. Tyler, when you guys broke it down on Oilers Nation every day, what was what are the keys to winning on this one?
For me, it's going to be get dangerous scoring chances. Again, Seattle's in the bottom third of the NHL when it comes to 5-on-5 save percentage. If you get to dangerous areas here and you get 8 to 12 really good scoring chances, you're going to score 4, 5, 6 goals, in my opinion. So just get a lot of dangerous looks. That's going to be my big key to the game.
I'm jumping in next because I'm selfish. For me, the Kraken are horrible on the PK. We saw this a week ago, 7 days ago against Vancouver. Vancouver was awful against the PK. On the PK, I should say, you need to capitalize on these chances. These are still NHL players. There are no gimmies, so don't act like it's a gimme. If you got power play chances, convert on them. Dan?
I would just like to see this team continue to shoot more. I didn't like 22 shots against Calgary. I'd like to see more rubber on the net. So for me, it's just shooting the puck more offensively. And I'm totally okay with the defensive team effort that they had against Calgary, as you guys pointed out, kept it to the perimeter. So yeah, for me, it's fire at the net and let's score more goals than the Seattle Kraken can.
Rick, what you got?
We need to take care of our own end. This has been an issue all season long. I don't know, take care of your own end. Their end, that offensive end will take care of itself. We need to focus on our own end. I get the shots and the goals and the scoring chances, all that shit. But if we do that and they stop us and we get scored on because we're giving up grade A chances the other way, it doesn't mean shit. Take care of your own fucking end. All 5 guys play as a goddamn team down there, and let's go from there.
Liam?
Yeah, mine is don't rely on a strong goaltending performance to win you the hockey game.
Yep.
Just try and be offensively dominant and dictate what's going to go on, and that'll help yourself in your defensive zone too. If you can maintain most of the puck possession and kind of take control of the game, then that's probably, what is the saying? I always forget it. Offense is the best defense. Let's just do that. Let's do that one.
I'll also just
I
add
wish
in.
that was the case for us.
I'll just,
too.
yeah, 100%. Even just another thing that was just kind of interesting to me about this matchup against the Kraken is they've allowed 16 fewer goals against than the Oilers have. And it's not like they are, which is tied with Vegas for first in the division, by the way. But that's going to be tricky. You got to navigate it. They're clearly doing a better job than we are defensively. So on the flip side of the puck, you can't give them extra opportunities that maybe they wouldn't have otherwise had. I guess I haven't said it in a while. Respect the blue lines. 3 feet on either side of it. Respect the blue lines.
They got a thick blue line too, especially on the left. I think it's the left side. What is it? Lawson.
How many C's?
Larson's on the right.
Okay, they got a thick blue line with 4 C's. Lawson,
Yeah.
Jamie Alexiak is a thick boy.
Yes,
And
he
what's
is.
the other guy? What's your favorite player in the league called Tyler?
Carson
Susie.
Susie.
Carson Susie. Yeah.
Or Raquel, Ricard Raquel, but that was another time.
Yeah, that moment.
And Jolts.
Yeah, Jolts is back.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Jolts.
They got some thick boys.
Real quick score prediction before we move on to what do I got? Ask the Idiots coming up. Tyler?
Score prediction, I'll say 5-3 Oilers. Hit the over.
Nation Dan, score prediction.
8-3 Oilers.
Woo. Liam?
5-3 Oilers. Power play goal and empty net.
For the Kraken.
5-2 Edmonton.
I'm going to say 4-2 Edmonton, but the second one, the puck line comes on an empty netter. Puck line comes on the empty netter. So,
Ooh, power play goal?
of course. Of course.
Yes.
Hold
Tyler
on.
is-
Power play and empty net.
Yes.
I
It's always
actually,
juicy.
well, so
The
here's
last time we had a power play and an empty net, what happened?
I don't
We got
know.
Scored on. We got scored on.
Either way, it still hits.
yeah. And over 1.5 power play goals I've missed at the last 2 games. I feel like we're getting on track again, baby. The odds are better for our friends at Betway. If you're legal gambling age, you're legal betting age, 1.5 power play goals. If you take the overs at -105 today, I like that bet.
I have a couple of trends from Oilers Seattle Kraken history that I'm not sure has happened, but the over is hitting all 3 matchups, and the Oilers, knock on wood, have never allowed a penalty kill goal against Seattle, or power play goal, whatever it is. They've gone 8-8 against the Seattle Kraken on the PK.
Tyler has gotten tired of this podcast, so he's just got up and left.
Yeah, he's out of here.
He was saying on Wednesday, and I wish I could remember, we're doing better late than never, but the Oilers PK is actually over 80% over the last X number of games, and I just don't remember what X is. So they've gotten better. It's just the start of the year was abysmal, and that percentage is still staying low as a result.
It was
I don't
actually
think
funny.
you look at that percentage over the whole season. You got to look at it per game now.
Yeah, you got to look at segments.
I was looking. I was making the graphics for Oilers Nation every day, and the PK got better. I think it's at like 72.5 now or something, but dropped 2 spots in the league rankings in one game. So even when they do better, they do worse.
Yeah, 72.5
kind of season
it
is. Just the season it is.
Which is amazing because at dead last, Seattle 69, nice, 0.2, or second last, I should say. And
who's
32,
last?
Vancouver still.
Oh, and St. Louis was last. Isn't St. Louis 30?
They're down in the bottom as well.
So we've played with 3 of the worst teams in the league recently on the PK.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. Did we get a power play goal against Vancouver?
Did not.
Tried to block that one out. Yeah.
Yep, did not. It was not good. Dan?
Just to further my point about shots, I was trying to find the statistic because I was looking at it before the show. The Kraken have lost the last 6 games where they were outshot by the other team, and they were outshot by more than 30 shots. So there you go.
Outshot by more than 30?
30. Well, the other team got more than 30.
More than 30. Okay.
Yeah.
If they got outshot by more than 30, they would just get.
The game against the Canadians, they got shot on 16 times and they lost 4-2. But other than that, they keep getting outshot and they lose. So shoot the puck.
Might be one of those guys.
Who do you guys think starts?
Doesn't matter. We're going to beat them both.
It does matter. Who, for us?
I think it's Skinner because
Skinner's
divisional
number 1. Skinner's
divisional matchup. You got to win these divisional games. If you can get a 4-point swing tonight, I start Stu. Especially like, the way he played against Calgary, 979, ridiculous.
I agree. I initially thought it was Skinner, and then I kind of got talked into thinking it was Campbell by myself because they're just not.
How did that conversation go?
It was just me in my head, just cha, and then
you were trying to find a start for Campbell.
They're just not starting Campbell at home.
2 months now since his last start at home.
Like
he's got to pick it up. He's got to find it himself. The team can't give him anything anymore. We need to win every goddamn game. We lace up the best team that can give its chance to win. If that's Skinner, then that's Skinner.
But Skinner's last 2 divisional starts, besides Calgary, was a loss to Vancouver and then a loss to Anaheim. So it's not like I'm not criticizing Skinner. He's obviously been unreal for this team, and he was the other day too. But like, he's not exactly been lights out as well against divisional opponents. So maybe
we got to look at those goals though and see how many guys we're allowing to get grade A chances.
For sure. And the Anaheim game, I think it wasn't on him by any means, but maybe Campbell gets the game tonight and then Skinner gets it tomorrow. I kind of feel like that's the way it might go. Like, because I can't remember which game it was, but I'm sure it was a Campbell start where Woodcroft was just not revealing what his lineup was. And then all of a sudden, Jack Campbell's in the crease to start the game. And that's kind of how it started. It feels like it's trending a little bit like that, where there's no media attention around who's getting the start. You're not at home. We don't even know if Draisaitl's what country he's in. It could be anywhere.
Yeah, it could be anywhere in the world.
Yeah, and it just feels very mysterious. So I got a feeling that Campbell is getting the start tonight. I would start Skinner, but I think it'll be Campbell.
Does it feel that way, or are you just telling yourself it feels that way?
Yeah, what does your other side of your brain say?
This side says Skinner. This side says Campbell. I'm just stuck in a little Liam sandwich.
As you were talking, I just did another sweep of the local media that would be traveling with the team, and still nothing. Still nothing. It's 1:30 p.m. Pacific, so they definitely would have had their morning skate by now, would they not?
They skated at 11:40. It was 12:40 our time, I believe.
Maybe Tyler knows now that he's back.
I'm back.
Who's starting tonight?
Tyler, did the guy at the door know who was starting for the Oilers today?
No, he did not happen to know who was starting for the Oilers tonight. But if my internet hasn't been good, he did offer me an upgrade. So we got that going for us.
That's big.
And I'm looking at it seems like Woody's just being a rascal. He's not giving any details.
Yeah. I'm telling you, this is trending towards a Campbell start.
Tyler, what would you do? We were just talking about, I personally would start, it's a divisional game, 4-point swing potentially. I start Skinner based on the game against Calgary.
It's so hard to not start Skinner after that game. And I totally understand your point. I wonder if they won't be again. It feels like they're nervous to start Campbell at home. So that makes me think they're going to go Campbell tonight, Skinner tomorrow. I don't hate the line of thinking of your team should be rested and ready to go tonight. A lot less pressure on the road for Campbell, but your team's rested, ready to go tonight. You have a better chance of outscoring your problems if you have any with Campbell tonight against Philip Grubauer than you do tomorrow night second of back-to-backs against Connor Hellebuck. So I would go Campbell tonight.
For our friends at Tourism Jasper, we're going to get into Ask the Idiots. I got a handful of questions that came in from you fine folks over the last couple of days. The boys haven't seen these, but first I got to tell you about what's going on in Jasper. If you go to jasper.travel, there you will see half-price lift tickets to Marmot Basin are available with the escape card. The best deal in the Canadian Rockies is back for 2022-23. Save 50% off regular price senior, adult, student, and youth tickets every day, all season with no blackout dates, and up to 15% or 50%, that's 50, off lift tickets at partner ski areas and 30% off accommodations in Jasper. I also want to tell you, the Jasper Pond Hockey Tournament is back January 27th to 29th. We'll be on out there. Join us, not Team Oilers Nation. Join us in Jasper because we're full up. We got a full roster and we're going to win. Last year we came third. This year I'm feeling pretty good. I went for a skate the other day, Tyler. Got my legs under me a little bit.
I bought new skates the other day. That's how fired up I am for this bad boy.
There you go.
Are you wearing them right now?
Yep, I just walk around the house in them. No skate guards either.
No skate guards. I like it.
Yeah, just fuck it.
That's commitment.
Blade on floor.
Do yourself a favor and do a little Google search for the Jasper Pond Hockey Tournament that's going up at the JPL on the last weekend of January. Join us. It was amazing last year, and I only can imagine that it will be even better this time around. They've got all kinds of things going on. I promise you're going to have a great time. Let's burn through these really quickly. Ask the Idiots. This one comes in from Blue Bunny, Tyler. Blue Bunny would like to know, should the Oilers try and trade for Lafreniere? And who would you give up if so? He was a healthy scratch in New York the other day. And if people are so dead set on giving up Bison King plus, what's going out to make this happen?
This is an interesting one because the Rangers clearly have a player who's struggling to meet expectations, right? But at the same time, I'm kind of like, they're in win now mode. So they're not just going to take like 2 second-round picks for Alexis Lafreniere. I think it'll take more than that to pry him out of there. He's coming up on the end of his ELC, so he's due for a bit of a payment probably to some extent this coming summer. He's got no arb rights. I don't know. Like, I don't think they would want Puljujarvi just because he's a $3 million cap hit and he probably doesn't help them immediately. So I think it might take a little bit more than that. Like, I think they're going to use Lafreniere to go get like Patrick Kane at the deadline. I don't think they're interested in like swapping him for another problem.
Nation Dan, Alexis Lafreniere from the New York Rangers, question mark?
Oh, it's pretty crazy that the guy that was the next one is now one that we're looking at as a transaction and a reclamation project, perhaps.
Is he his third year? What year is he in anyway?
Third year.
Yeah. 3? Is it 3? Yep. There you go.
COVID was draft year.
So he's up for contract at the end of this year.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, crazy to see. I think it's one of those things that if you ask the casual hockey fan where they thought Lafreniere would be right now, I assume most people would assume he's at the top echelon of the league, but he just never seems to have been able to put it together. And I see a lot of hubbub out of Ranger fans that are quite upset with Gerard Gallant over this and believe he is part of the problem, which seems to be something that happens to Gerard Gallant after a couple of years when he's with an organization. The fan base kind of turns on him. So anyways, just fascinating to watch from afar as a team that's had a couple of busts to see Lafreniere maybe turn into another bust.
Liam, you going fishing for Lafreniere?
I mean, yeah, sure. We could go fishing for him. I just don't think the Rangers would grab onto the hook. Like Tyler said, I think the Rangers are going to want to move in for something bigger, and the Oilers don't have anything that they would truly want to move that's too big for Lafreniere. And yeah, they're probably just going to want to go get like a Kane or a Taves or whoever it is. Like the Rangers make these big moves all the time, and they're not going to be afraid to move Lafreniere. So yes, the Oilers should look at him. No, the Rangers won't move into him. To us.
Rick?
No. The last thing we need is another player like that.
He has 17 points this year.
Cool. Is he going to jump over the boards and take out Weegar when he goes to do something to Connor? Is he going to go stand in front of the net? I said this at the very beginning, that if we won that lottery, I would have traded it back. I wasn't going to take that player. We don't need another type of offensive, small-bodied, not physical type of player. We don't need that.
Okay, but I think there might be something to be said about bringing him in here and putting him with some really skilled players. And just because you go
where are you going to place him there? Where are you going to play him?
Holy shit! You think he can be worse in the top 6 than Puljujarvi?
No, but you're adding, so you're going to put him in the top 6, right? Like that's just where you're going to put him. Well, then swap out for 13, no problem. All I'm saying is that does not change our lineup all that well. Yes, you get a little more offense out of him than you do out of Puljujarvi, but it doesn't change your dynamic at all.
But just because you go get Lafreniere doesn't mean you also don't do more. Like, it's not like you can only get him and then you're screwed. If you get him and it's a mover, like maybe you trade Puljujarvi somewhere else and then you bring in Lafreniere, put him in that spot, pay the Rangers whatever they want, sure. And then you also have some extra money. Maybe you can go get a tough bottom 6 guy as well. Like, it wouldn't be their only move. No, gosh, no. And I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there's many other players out there that should be at the top of the list before they even look at Lafreniere. He just does not bring the dynamic that we need. When you look at, like, he would have got how well would he handle the LA series? That was a rough tumble series. I mean, he's not going to really help all that much.
I don't know. Right? He was in the East and went. Didn't they go to the finals? Conference finals. So I mean, I don't know. Like, it's
dude. If you think that the Oilers need another smaller offensive, then we're crazy.
Do I think replacing Jesse Puljujarvi with Alexis Lafreniere right this moment would be a bad thing? No. That's the question being asked. But I understand what you're saying.
We don't have that many bullets in the chamber here. We don't have a lot of trades we can make this year.
But in a vacuum, without having to worry about the rest of the lineup, you have to admit that transaction would make this team better.
If you're going to get like Minnesota almost comes up and beats us up right now, like adding another smaller guy like that, dude. When you played ice hockey, did you play 3 skinny Gretzkys? No. Why? Because he got knocked all over the ice and took him an hour and a half to get up.
So, but Rick, a guy who had the skill to go first overall and who's shown flashes of high end skill. Are you not at least a little bit intrigued to see if like him and McDavid would have some kind of magic? Because I am.
I would
100%, but I just don't think that that's ultimately what we need to make this team as good as it can be. Again, what we need is a guy who's going to play in those exact same minutes, who's going to be able to play rugged, going to play hard-nosed playoff hockey, and we don't have that right now. And until we get that, we can get pushed around by a lot of teams.
My answer is if we're swapping guy for guy, Puljujarvi for Lafreniere, I do it all day. The Rangers aren't going to do it. You'd have to throw in all kinds of picks and stuff. Yeah. I would also take the $2 million in savings that would give you, because then you can go out and get. You can get a reasonable bottom 6 player or a defenseman for $2 million.
Or maybe the Rangers have a bottom 6 player that they would like to just add into the deal and make the money.
I don't want add another bottom 6. We need to add, if we're going to add a top 6 player, we need a guy who has size on him. But we can go to the front in front of the net.
I would rather take a guy who can score.
I'm okay. Yeah. We just differ there, Rick, and that's fine.
I don't disagree that the Oilers don't need like some.
I don't know. Like,
we just did 15 minutes about how annoying it was that nobody stuck up for Connor McDavid. Of course, I want them to get something with a little bit of grit.
Yes,
maybe so if you have one trade piece out there, and it's Puljujarvi, maybe it's the talent or the money or the whatever. You need to spend that on someone who can go out there and play that type of hockey that you want to cover.
Then who's replacing Jesse Puljujarvi in the top 6 for talent?
The reality is
the player you're just going to get. Or shit, I have actually no issues with them playing there based on what we have right now.
I don't think you're
based on what we have right now. Yes, he doesn't bring a lot of offense right now, but he doesn't bring a lot of negatives either. Is he missing his check in the defensive zone that's causing goals? Not really. Is he missing some of these terrible flutter passes out there that we call breakout passes? Nope.
He's kind of been robbed. Like, he got robbed in Calgary, and then didn't he get robbed against Vancouver too? Like, he could be on like a little bit of a streak now. Like,
he has 2 points before that too.
Well, and to his credit too, those are shots that earlier in the year he was shooting at the pads on the ice.
Yeah, and
those are getting up now, and the goalies are just there to respond.
Just making good saves.
Like the one on Markstrom, I saw people ripping him on Twitter for some reason. I'm just like, at what point do you just tip your cap to the goalie for making a hell of a save? Right? Anyway, let's move on. Yep. Dan, I'm going to start with you because you're the only one of us that deals with children. If you could have any Oiler not named Connor McDavid appear at your kid's birthday party, who would it be and why? If you don't have kids, for the rest of you, who's just going to be the most fun on your night out? Dan?
I think just based purely on his his demeanor on the ice. I think you bring Jesse Puljujarvi because he probably brings Jaffa with him. We saw Jaffa in the relay there, and the kids and Jesse probably just have a great time, and you don't even notice that there's another hockey player at the game or at the party.
I'm just being told, breaking news here, that Draisaitl did not go on the trip.
Where is he?
Will not play today. He is still in Edmonton,
Switzerland.
Oh.
So just take that as you will. That is what I've just been told. No Draisaitl from Edmonton Oilers.
What is the injury with it? Is he just kind of banged up? Is it like a bad injury? Like something happened? Is this why they've been playing together for so long?
Yes.
So many questions.
Yes, Liam. Conspiracy.
Like, I don't know. Like, there was the only thing I could think of is when Backlund cross-checked him into the open door against Calgary. Like, maybe there was something.
That's not getting enough talk, by the way. That's dirty. When you knock a guy into an open gate.
That's dangerous.
Again, there goes another conversation to somebody jumping over the bench and filling that dude up. But we've moved on. We'll move on. Liam, who's going to be the most fun at your birthday party? You got no kids.
No kids. Best guy. Do you know what? If Leon's around, I'll take him. I feel like he's got some places he knows where to go. Like, I feel like he's got some like low key places where he likes to hang out. So
are you using him to get to VIP lines?
Yes, 100%. Rick.
I respect
my birthday. I can do whatever I want
with the kids.
The kids. Rick, who's the most fun to have at your birthday?
You know what? I don't know, man. I think a guy like Clowder is a good guy to have around.
A bad pick.
I'm going to take Yamamoto. He just seems like he'd be a little buzzsaw out there. I'd have a great time with Yamo, I think. Tyler?
I'm going to pick Nuge because maybe he brings his horse and the kids would love the horse.
Wow.
Whose horse is that? They'd say.
Whose horse is that?
The children's author. No one picked the children's author.
Okay, Zach Hyman writes children's books.
I don't have kids, though, so I don't know how much Zach Hyman wants to party with me.
I picked Jesse. I thought somebody for sure was going to grab Zach, but.
Question number 3. This one we're going to start with Rick. What is your take on the JT Miller incident from last night with the Canucks?
People are blowing it up too much. People are way too sensitive. If you saw things that Michael Jordan told to his teammates, if you saw the way that people talk to each other in the 80s and 90s, good Lord, we have a lot of incidents out there nowadays. People are blowing this up.
Tyler?
I think it speaks to how fucked up their locker room is. Like, I don't think JT Miller's a great teammate. This isn't the first time he's gotten into it with a teammate either. And I get Rick's point too, that like, you know, sometimes it's frustration between two guys, but like obviously Colin Delia knows he needs to go to the bench, JT Miller, but like the bench will signal him when that time's coming. You're not the coach. So like there was 57 seconds left in the game. JT Miller spent 11 of it yelling at his goalie. Bro, you need to score. You're losing. Don't worry about the goalie. Worry about your own shit. I don't know. I thought it was.
But wouldn't that extra player make it the breakout and then the zone entry a little bit easier?
Yeah, but like Colin Delia knows he needs to go to the bench. Like again, I don't know. I just thought JT Miller was kind of being a bitch.
Not taking that away, but
yeah.
It's pretty hard. Like, I mean, whenever you get into these situations, you do get like you saw how Michael Jordan used to treat people. We're talking about JT Miller here on the 24th place Vancouver Canucks, though. And so it's not exactly the same competition level. I hear what you're saying, Rick, and I totally agree. And that's like, to me, that's like a sign of leadership, right? Like, especially if you're in a situation where it's like do or die and like the season's on the line and Miller is passionate and excited, but we're talking about not getting the loser point or getting a loser point. So I don't know.
Yeah, everyone said the same thing about Mike Smith last year, and look what the season is.
And I hated it for Mike Smith too. So I guess I'm on the soft side of the camp here, but I just it's like keep that stuff for the locker room, keep that stuff off of the cameras and off of the thing where you have to have this debate now afterwards.
For me, I just thought, and I don't mind it when teammates yell at each other. I really don't. Like I played hockey even at any level. I remember me and my buddies screaming at each other in bantam. Like
we have screamed at each other at HQ. It's happened.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah. So I've got no problem with that part of it at all.
The stick slam on the net was a little excessive, but
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
My thought was that JT Miller looked like a fucking idiot because where they were in the game and how much time he wasted doing this. He parked himself behind the net. What are you doing, man? You look like a moron.
Well, the best part was Delia was actually gone by the time he hit the net. He was just frustrated, I think, at that point.
I sent a text message this morning to our boy, David Quadrelli out in Vancouver. I was just like, what do you think about the JT Miller thing? And he goes, good Lord, this team, it doesn't get any better. There you go. That was
we've been there in the decade of darkness, like the stories that just snowball and you get people stomping on foreheads and it just turns into a nightmare.
I'll never forgive Corey Potter for that. Liam, did you go? Thoughts on JT Miller?
I didn't. And I actually didn't know what we were talking about until I watched the video of it just now. I actually don't mind it. I mean, Vancouver just had a shitty year, right? Like everyone's frustrated and I don't think it's that bad. I think it's maybe has been. I understand why it's all over social media. It's quite funny to watch actually. But yeah, I don't think it's like that big of a deal. The stick slam on the top of the net was a bit weird. What if you literally snap your stick? Like, what if his stick had broken then? He literally would have wasted even more time and you would have looked like more of an idiot.
You should Google Keith Ballard with the Florida Panthers.
Oh,
yeah, that's a good one.
I clipped it for Hockey Fights this year. There was a player, a Canucks player, I think, that swung his stick. I think it was actually a Canucks player that swung his stick and he forgot that he had a teammate next to him.
No, it was
Ottawa.
Thomas Chabot.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. On the bench.
My bad. It's a Canadian team. My bad.
Yeah, so I don't think it's that bad. I'm sure JT Miller was also looking at it being like, this is our third string goalie. Maybe, I don't know, there's a protocol they follow or something. Like, I don't think it's that bad. I think it's quite funny.
And also, just going back to the Thomas Chabot one, that wasn't the first time that Travis Hamonic took a shot he didn't want, though, you know? Right? Hey, oh, wow, wow. Pew, 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 pew. Boom, boom.
Jokes are the best jokes.
All right. We've got one last question. We started off with the highlights from 2022. What's a low light for you, Dan?
Well, I mean, the big low light this summer, and it sucks because it happens, but the loss of Ben Stelter was definitely a low point in my year for sure. I got the text from Zach Lang that morning that we had heard the rumblings that it may have happened, and then it was confirmed. So yeah, for me, the loss of Ben Stelter, of course, it's a positive after that and before it, but the loss of Ben Stelter for me.
2,000%. Liam?
I think, I kind of have two. One of them is just kind of sucked when it happened, but when like Evander Kane got injured, that was just awful. Scary. Yep. And then I guess one almost on like a funnier note was when Mike Smith allowed that goal from like, what is it, the other end of the ice by
I was there.
Don't say it. Don't say his name.
I also was there.
Anyone besides Matthew Tkachuk, like the guy who scored the goal, is arguably the worst player to ever play. I hate that guy so much. I don't even know what he does. He just drives me nuts. So the fact it was him that scored it too. So that was 2 low points for you right there.
Rick?
I guess you can look at it as a low or a high point, but just that the way that last series ended against Colorado, not being fully healthy, losing 4 straight, just losing in general, I guess. Just the way the season ended.
Tyler?
Oh, yeah, I was going to go with that, too. Like, having them get bounced on home ice and not even get a win in the Western Conference Final, it would have been great for that run to keep going a little bit. So I'll just agree with Rick. That's an easy one.
Yeah, that was going to be mine. So I'm going to steal Liam's as well. That goal by he who shall not be named. I was sitting right behind the net when that went in. And you could see it from where I was sitting, fly up in the air, like our net. Yep. Yeah. Sitting like 15 feet up in the air. I'm like, and I remember leaning over to my buddy. I'm like, I think that's going in. Dunk. And then watching Mike Smith go, whoa. It was weird. It was a weird one. And then just my other low light was probably like January when we were convinced, Tyler kept saying it in the office, so I'm throwing you under the bus, pal, that the Oilers were not going to make the playoffs last year after the way things were going with Dave Tippett before he got gassed. Just that whole, and it's not hanging this on Tyler specifically. There was a lot of us that were saying that it was just that period of last year was so bad. So bad. So there's a low light for you. So there you go. Ask the Idiots for friends at Tourism Jasper. Check them out at jasper.travel. Get yourself the escape card. Get a couple of discounts. Go skiing. By the looks of the website, the Marmot Basin website, it is looking nice. Get on out there. If you want to play hockey in the end of January, sign up for a team. Tyler, do you got buttons for us today or no?
I do.
Well, then for our friends at Soho, check them out at Soho YEG. It is time for hot and cold performers. Go in there on game days. they've got specials for you. Tyler, special?
Half price chicken wings. That's pretty good. $8 for a pint and a slice. I would say that's pretty good as well.
Oh,
You can watch the game on a 100-inch screen. It is great down at Soho. If it's not a game day, maybe even check out some of the events they got going up. Some live music in there. Come on. It's a great spot. Great people. Great pizza. SohoYEG.com. We start off with our veggies every week. Nation Dan, you're up first. Your cold performer of the week.
My cold performer of the week is just going to be myself and technology. I have received a few gift cards over the weekend and haven't been able to get any of them to work on multiple websites. Struggling with that. I missed this week's episode of this very podcast because my laptop is not working. Both of my phones have reached capacity for files, so I've had to go through those and wipe those over this holiday week. It's just been me and technology gets my cold performer of the week.
Liam, you're up next. Your Soho cold performer of the week.
I have so many. I have so many cold performers this week. It's been a weird week. But the one, so my car broke down. That was big. But the one I'm going to give it to is the Calgary roads. Is very strange around here. You'll be driving around, and then all of a sudden, the lane just ends in the middle of the highway, and you're like, "Oh, there was nothing telling me this until I literally saw the barricade right in front of me." So no wonder everyone drives like an absolute lunatic around there. You really never have any idea which way the road is going to turn. So that's the way I'm going to go with my cold performer of the week. Calgary roads. There you go. There's your sound effect too.
You need some passenger seat bananas, it sounds like.
Yep.
I'm upset.
That's what happens when you ban sidewalks.
That is true. Yeah. And you just live in a shithole. Smells like Itchy Ban.
Yeah.
I love Itchy Ban, but like sometimes, the whole city just stinks. Smells like feet.
Impressive.
Lames.
Rick, your Soho cold performer of the week.
I got to give it to the clowns out there trying to explain how the Weegar hit wasn't dirty. There's just no way of doing it except the fact that it was a dirty play. It's, you look pretty bad out there when you're trying to explain to everyone that it wasn't and trying to sit there and spin it however you want. So just accept it was a dirty play.
That's a joke. That's an absolute joke is what it is.
Tyler, your Chuck, your Soho cold performer of the week.
Me for getting suspended in beer league hockey. That's generally a pretty embarrassing thing to do.
This isn't on you. You told us a story. This is definitely on the Bush League team and then the league, and then that one official. I think he has an issue with you.
Yeah.
Is this your first suspension in a rec league?
So yeah.
First this season.
I got an 8-game once.
Ooh, from rec soccer.
Yeah, I punched somebody. It was that heated game. Go right in there.
My cold performer of the week, I don't even want to mention the company name, but I bought myself a wallet on Black Friday thinking that I was going to like it, and I did not like it. And they gave me 60 days to return that piece of shit, and now they're making it as difficult as humanly possible for me to get my money back on this horrible garbage fucking wallet that I spent too much money on, and I cannot wait to get my credit so that I can go light them up on every platform because it is a shit wallet. It is terrible to use. It's annoying. It's overpriced piece of garbage.
What the hell is going on?
Thank you.
I'll give you a bonus.
Stay tuned to future episodes when Bag Milk drops the company
that escalated
name.
Quickly.
I was telling Tyler, like, how many times have I complained about that wallet to you, Tyler?
Yeah, and I think it's weird because I have a similar one and I like it.
No, yours has more options than mine did.
Is it like mine?
No, yours also has more options than mine. I would like my wallet to be like your wallet. This one, it's just all, there's no organization. It's just, you're fucking free balling out there.
It's kind of like a clamp, right?
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah, I've seen those ones. I understand your frustration.
Awful. Awful. And the fact that they sleep at night selling people these garbage wallets at the price that they pay. Good Lord. Now they're giving me a hassle. Come on. All right, let's end off the podcast with a positive note. We're going to do our hot performers of the week for our friends at Soho. Tyler, you're up first.
My hot performer of the week, I'm just giving it to the man, Stuart Skinner. It's been a while since we've drafted and developed a legitimate number one starting goalie. And after that game against Calgary, I am willing to say he is a legitimate number one starting goalie. So Stuart Skinner, I love you. And you get my hot performer of the week. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Press a button.
I hit the cash register.
Oh.
I'll hit it again. Go.
No, nothing.
I did not hear that.
None.
Rick, your hot performer of the week.
Well, we're just going to give it to our young friend there, Reed Schaefer. You know what? Just making the team, getting out there, having a little twirl with Team Canada, the World Juniors, is a pretty big step in his career. So let's give it to young Ginger Beef.
Liam, you're up next. Your Soho hot performer of the week.
I will stay on the World Juniors path too. I'll give mine to Carter Hutton though. Did you guys hear what he did?
No.
So he called, I think the goalie for Canada, Benjamin Gaudreau, I believe his name is. So after that game against Czechia where he got pulled and all that kind of stuff, which wasn't really all on him, Carter Hutton called him and just gave him like some words of advice on like how to deal with like the adversity of like playing hockey on the big stage and that kind of stuff. And they had no relationship prior. They had never spoken. They had never met. But I thought that was pretty cool that he just reached out to help a young goalie like that. So Carter Hutton.
Ah, damn it. I forgot to load up a button. One sec, Liam. Give me
This is what happens when people work from home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not in the zone today.
Nation Dan, your hot performer of the week.
My hot performer of the week is going to be a selfish one, and it's going to be for everybody that's a part of this podcast. I'm sad to announce this will be my final podcast of 2022.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I just thought of doing that while I was doing this. But it's an absolute blast to be able to do this podcast. I would say like 40% of the time we're worried that we might not have enough content to be able to fill out the hour, but I don't think we've ever had an issue at the end of the episode coming up with things to say, at least not in the last 600,000 or whatever episodes we've done. So just a huge shout out to everybody that goes into helping this podcast get put together, and then also the listeners, of course. Get my hot performer of the week.
Pour it on! Just wrap it off for Soho, my hot performer of the week. I'm just going to say Greta Thunberg's Twitter game this past week. I don't need to go into it a whole lot.
Pass me that pizza box.
If you know, you know. And I'm going to give her a shout out for a couple of amazing dunks that she put on, despite the fact that she is not tall enough to dunk, but she did it anyway. Greta Thunberg, your Twitter game gets my hot performer of the week.
Put some respect on my name.
Good job.
There you have it. There you have it. For our friends at DoorDash, Oodle Noodle, Tourism Jasper, Soho, and what else we got here? Oh, Betway. Thank you guys for being here. This is the last Oilers Nation Radio episode of 2022. We will be back on Tuesday next week. And between now and then, I would love nothing more than if you reached out to me on social media and you said, hey, Bag Milk, I signed up for the Nation Vacation to Toronto with your friends at AMA Travel. We're joining you. We're joining you because we thought it'd be a great time, which it will be. So head on over to nationgear.ca. Get yourself involved. Tyler, final thoughts?
Happy New Year's.
There you go. Happy New Year, buddy.